at old Billy Shakespeare's Globe Theatre, just over there. Yeah, they had their own version of popcorn with bags of hazelnuts. Tons of shells were found at the site. Alright mate, off to the picture house then, are we? I bet you won't get through the first trailer without some spotty teenager prattling away on his blower about whether he's going to meet Chantel back at his gaff for an awkward fumble tonight. That self-centred, embryonic little amoeba. But then the movie starts and bloody hell, it's feeding time at the zoo. Everyone except for me chomping and slurping on popcorn like Granny Badger without her falsies in. But you know, even the Elizabethans were munching their way through the flicks at old Billy Shakespeare's Globe Theatre, just over there. Yeah, they had their own version of popcorn with bags of hazelnuts. Tons of shells were found at the site. Imagine that cacophony of crunching all the way through the first act of Antony and Cleopatra. God save us, how did they let that behind the wheel? Popcorn goes back a long way, mate. Right through the epic history of the Americas. In 1948, remains of it were found in Bat Cave. Not the Cape Crusaders one, but one for your early agricultural dwellers in New Mexico. Some reckon the stuff was over 5,000 years old. I reckon they're flogging it down my local cinema. More Native Americans in 1200 AD were popping oiled ears of corn on sticks over fires because they thought the kernels had angry little gods living inside them. When the corn was heated, they believed the god got seriously annoyed and exploded right out of his house with a pop. But they did also manage to make some lovely beer out of the popcorn, so they were definitely onto something. By the 16th century, those Aztecs in sunny Mexico were gobbling up popcorn, and they had the courtesy not to do it in someone's lug hole when they tried to watch a film, didn't they? Because then, you see, films hadn't been invented. The Spanish conquistador Cortes got his first box of popcorn when he shipped up in 1519 and found them not only eating the stuff, but listen, they were wearing it as well. For their religious ceremonies, they wore it as headdresses, necklaces, bracelets. They'd scatter the stuff everywhere as offerings to their gods of rain, fertility and fishermen. Mind you, there always seems to be a healthy scattering stuck right at my rumphole every time I get out of my cinema seat. So yeah, popcorn's as old as the hills, mate. Fast forward to America in 1885, and with the invention of the first portable popcorn machine, the game changed. Those sly vendors could start stalking their prey through carnivals, fairs and rallies. When the talkies came along in the 1920s, they'd start lurking outside cinemas, and before you know it, they're skipping up and down the aisle selling their sticky morsels. Most posh cinema owners weren't too fond of the mess and smell of the stuff, but in 1929, when the Great Depression hit, which in my opinion wasn't all that great, they thought, hang on a minute, those kernels are easy to store, this stuff is uber cheap to make, it makes folks thirsty for a cola, we could be making some serious moolah out of this. And lo, a concession stand is born. Then, World War II kicks off and Uncle Sam's popcorn sales treble. You see, because of sugar rationing, people couldn't get hold of their favourite chockies and sweets for a trip to the fleets. The solution, mate? Tons and tons of bleeding popcorn for tons and tons of slobbering gods. War is most definitely hell, mate. Where'd you say you're going again?
If you'd like to just press the subscribe button, you can hear more historical conundrums thrashed out by our talking, taxi-driving badger.